All right, guys, we are now in a different part of the studio, and we're going to look at a very, very popular type of lighting today. It's this really kind of, it's a little bit edgy, a little bit punchier than a regular light. We are going to use a beauty dish. And this is very, very popular right now. This is, you know how things in photography go in phases? Well, right now everybody wants to shoot with a beauty dish. Ring flashes and beauty dishes are really kind of one of the big things right now. And we have a beauty dish here on the set. I want to show you what a beauty dish is, why it works so well. So here's it is. You're going to use a regular strobe head, all right? So you're just going to take whatever strobe head you have. And a number of companies make these beauty dishes. What it is, it's kind of this big aluminum pan. All right, so picture like a regular reflector, and now it's a really big reflector. But if you can look inside here and see, the bulb actually hits this little dish, for lack of a better term. It hits this little silver bowl, and then it spreads the light and it comes down. And it's much edgier. Now there's two different ways to use this. If I'm shooting a beauty dish with guys, and yes, we shoot guys all the time. In fact, we have one in the series where we're using this. It's the most edgy without anything in front of it. Just let the light flow just like it is. However, for about 20 bucks more, you can buy one of these things. And this is basically a sock that fits over. It's a diffusion sock. It fits over the whole thing, and this just adds some diffusion. So you can just take a look at the material and think, okay, so we're firing this flash or something that's going to make it softer, and it does. It takes a little of the edge off. But still, it's a very bright, punchy light source. And there's not much else to this particular look. It's just the attachment that's on here, it does the work for you. You can choose to shoot some with it on and some with it off. The only problem with this is the positioning of the light. The positioning of the light usually goes directly in front of your subject, right in front of them, and aimed down at a 45-degree angle, and we put it a foot or two above their head. Now, you can also sometimes even get it really lower to where it's just out of the frame. So what we're going to do is we're going to use two things together. We're going to use this beauty dish, and now the beauty dish, if you just use it alone, is going to cast some shadows. You know, it's going to be kind of a, that's why it's great for shooting guys. It's kind of a you know, almost a overly dramatic, old Hollywood kind of almost creepy look. So if you bring in a reflector or another light below it, it reflects that light back into their eyes. So first, we're going to have Stevie's helping us on this shoot again. She's going to come in and we're going to get a shot of her. We're going to set this up first. I'm going to have Brad give me a hand. We're going to get this into place because it just needs to go up higher and then turn in. We're going to have Stevie come into the set and we're going to shoot a very close headshot using this beauty look. We're going to start with it without the reflector so you can see the problem we're going to have with the eyes. And I'll show you a way, if you don't have a reflector, how you can get around it. And then we'll bring in the reflector to finish off the piece. So let's go ahead and get Brad here. Brad's going to help me get this into place. And basically all he did was swivel it around the other side and then just lift it up high enough for her to walk under it. All righty, here we go. We pretty good there, Brad? I think so. All right, thank you. All right, we're going to bring Stevie in, who is our subject for this shoot. Here comes Stevie. Now, in this case, because look how close the strobe is to her, I mean, it's right on her. So I have powered this thing all the way down. The lowest power this will go is a setting of 1.5. It's all the way down, so I really can't even change the power to go any lower. I can only change the power to go higher. All right, we're on a white background, but I'm not lighting the white background. There will be no light except for whatever spills off of this on the white background. So behind her will be gray. So, and I like that because she's wearing this white kind of scarf thing over her head. She's got white long gloves that she's going to put up on her face in just a moment. And then if it's on a white background, it might be a little overpowering. If I wanted that background to be solid white, I would just take another strobe right here and just aim it right back. I'd have it on a very low stand, aiming back there, or I actually could even put it behind her. Since I'm only going to shoot from here up, I could actually put it behind her. All right, let's take a couple of test shots. I want to give you my settings on the camera. We're using a 70-200 lens, which you can see is my kind of my workhorse lens for portraits. I use it quite a bit. We are in manual mode as always when we're working with strobes. I'm going to be at 1/125th of a second. We'll start at f5.6 and see what we get. All right, let's get nice in and close. I'm zoomed way in, so it's just basically a head and shoulder shot. Very nice. So I always start at that 1/25th 5.6. It's way too bright. And I just said we can't pull the power of the strobe down. It's all the way down. So I'm going to have to adjust my f-stop. All right, we're at 5.6. It's way blown out. So let's jump all the way up to 5.8, see if we're going in the right direction. Better, but still blown out. Let's go to f11. Let's really jump way up there and limiting our light. Ooh, we're almost there. f11 is almost there. f13. Nice. I'm at F13, which is fine. I could probably go one more. I'm going to go to F14. You ever use F14? Not very much, right? Here we go. F14 is about right. Now, I'm going to have you look straight towards me. Don't look up and just look straight. And I kind of want you to see what the problem's going to be. Thank you. I can already see it just looking through here. When she looks straight at the camera, it's dark under the eyes. You can really see the light's not really getting in there. So Stevie, if you will, just look up a little bit towards the camera. I want you to see the difference this is going to make. I mean, not towards the camera. Look up a little towards the light. Just tipping your head up a little bit. Night and day. It's so good, I don't know if we really need to put a reflector in, but if you really want to make sure there's enough light in there, a lot of light in there, we can just add a reflector. Now, in this case, I'm having Stevie actually hold her hands up on her face. If she wasn't holding her hands on her face, I would actually hand her a reflector and go, can you please hold this? And hold it right up under, right just outside camera range. Well, since she's using both of her hands, I'm going to have to bring in just a reflector on a stand. We have a little stand with 2 clips. That stand works pretty well when you want to just put it sideways besides. But to make the thing hold out like this, you're going to need 2 stands. So we have, Brad's bringing in here and Dwayne's helping him, bringing in the reflector. We're using a silver reflector because we're inside in studio. And you see the clip is holding this one, but it's just not going to hold it out straight like that. It's not like a gymnast. It would fall right down. So when Dwayne put this other one up there, and you see how it's kind of positioned right where she's at now. Let's take the same shot. Let's get in here nice and tight and see how this looks. Man, there is lots of light in there now, but it looks really good. It actually did affect the exposure a little bit because I had pretty much stopped the whole clipping thing, right? I had a little bit of clipping in the light. Bringing that in, now there's more light there, so there's a tiny little bit of clipping. Let's take another shot. Very nice, that looks great. You know what? There is a tiny little bit of clipping. I don't know if I really want to change the exposure because the exposure looks right. So how am I going to get that clipping back? Well, we would get that back in retouching. Inside of Lightroom or Photoshop's Camera Raw, we would use the recovery slider because it's so slight, I know I can bring it back. If it's just a little bit of clipping, I know I can fix it. Now you're probably thinking, shouldn't you fix it here on the set? I could, but my exposure is going to start getting darker. And I think my exposure is pretty good about where it's at, so I don't really want to mess with that. So that's how we're going to use the Beauty Dish. It's got a little punchier, brighter light. It puts a lot of light in the face. It's very close to your subject, and that reflector really makes all the difference in the world. There is one more thing that we could have done. We're not going to do it because this is such a good, inexpensive way to do it. But what we could have added, instead of having this reflector under Stevie, we could have put another softbox right here. We could have put a softbox aiming up at an angle, and that would bring up more light. And that way you can control the light. The problem is, if this is at 1.5, it's already at the lowest power I can go. If I put another one here, it's also going to be at the lowest power it can go. And once it's gone as low as it can go, I would have to change my exposure. So, you know what, honestly, this is a very inexpensive and easy way to get a really great look for this kind of a beauty style setup.